Hello my fellow freedom builders and welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna have our Mining Monday and there is a lot of good news. Now of course we have had the US presidential election and so on, and something new are actually happening just right as I speak here, so I look forward to that in this video. Now the agenda for today is that we're gonna have a look at gold, silver and the overall US dollar. We're going to have a look at the GDX and GDXJ ETFs. Then I'm going to have a look back at 10 of the stocks I have mentioned earlier to see if there are some new fundamentals or new earnings and how they are standing on the technical side. And then of course at the end I will end up with a little US election and talk about the stimulus packages. So with that said, remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button and all that jazz below there, and let's get straight into it. First of all, let's have a look at the gold price. That is where we normally start. And just before I began this video, actually the gold was a little bit up. And then all of a sudden, now that I was preparing, the gold was shooting downwards. And the reason for that, I think, I haven't really researched it too much, but I think that it was because we had some new vaccine data coming out right now, some very positive vaccine data. I can see the indices around the world are shooting up, and there's a lot of risk being taken off, and that often results in a drop in gold price, but it's not really something I'm concerned about. You can see it is working its way up again here. We can have a look at it on a 1 hour chart just for the fun of it, and you can see here it just shot straight down and further down, and right now it is building a bit up again. I don't think we will have a huge breakdown. These vaccine news and stuff, they are often a bit exaggerated, and also when the investors find out that when we have a good vaccine, it'll probably take a year or a year and a half for the world to produce enough vaccine to cover the entire world, then I think the news will be a bit, the effect will not be as big on the market as we see just when we hear it. Anyway, gold has broken up through this channel very violently, and that actually makes me think that we are in an area where we can see some heavy gold price increases. And what I have talked about this before, if this was the bull flag and we have the flag pole here, then we might see some gold prices up around 2200-2300, maybe even higher. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just within the next month. It can be over many months, but that is just as a rule of thumb what we are going for. So I think that we can get to see this break and the effect of it in other gold stocks as well. When we're looking at silver, it's a bit of the same. The break is not as brutal upwards here as we saw in the gold price, but it is okay. And if we can turn around and get a bit more upwards movement here, I think that we'll see some good increase in silver prices. But we never know. If the world gets a lot better place and people are taking a lot of risk off and putting the money off these risk assets here and putting them into stocks instead, then we might see a little decline in the silver price as well. When we're looking at the US dollar, you can see here that it has been beaten down. If we're looking at the weekly chart here, have a look, the DXY here, which is the dollar index, just from the beginning of March here and up until now, it is down 10%. That happened also in 17 and in 15 and in 12, I think. And we have seen drops of 15 to 20%. So if we are going to see this, and if this area here around the 92 breaks downwards on the DXY, I suspect the dollar to drop even more. And that will bring the gold and silver prices upwards since they are negatively correlated. So I'm looking a lot at the DXY right now, and of course that also got a bit positive boost from the news right now about the vaccine. But I'll get back to that when we talk about the election and the stimulus packages at the end. Now, looking at the ETF for the majors, the GDX, then we also see the same break, a bit delayed, but the same break here that we saw due to the rise in gold prices. And looking at the GDXJ for the juniors, we also see a break. It is not a very strong break, but give it a couple of days or a couple of weeks just to establish itself above this channel, and then I really think we can go a lot further up. All right, let's have a look at the earlier mentioned stocks here, because we have a list of stocks and there are some news coming out, and I'll just go through them quickly. Now, a thing I should mention is, if you have followed me for a while, you know I have an indicator down here called the CRS, the Comparative Relative Strength. And normally that is normally the stock's price compared to the, for instance, the SPY, meaning the S&P 500. What I have done here today is that I have set this line to be compared with the GDX, meaning the major gold miner ETF. So what we can see on this line here is that if it is going up, and we are talking about this gray line, this one here, if that is moving upwards, it means that the stock we are looking at is doing better than the sector ETF, the GDX here, or the industry ETF. And if it is going down, as we see here, it means that, for instance, Kirkland Gold here is doing worse. It is performing worse than the overall industry. So I think that could be fun to look at. So let's have a look at it today. Now, Kirkland Lake here came out with a Q3 report on November 5th. And they announced a record free cash flow and increased earnings by 49% compared to Q3 last year. And they are up 14% from the Q2 here in 2020. So that, of course, that was the 5th here. And that, of course, they went up a bit, but they have been shot a bit down from the top of this channel. And what we would need to see before buying into this major here is a break up. I am much more into the technical analysis on the majors than I am on the juniors. The juniors are a bit more news and case related, whereas the majors are we can spot a lot more technical analysis from that. So the Kirkland Lake Gold here is definitely a good case on the fundamental side. Right now, I would see a break up here, so I can see that it's not just me that is satisfied, but also the rest of the market. Now, the B2 Gold, I've gotten a lot of messages from you saying that after my last video, you actually bought into the B2 Gold. And that is, of course, fine. You're welcome to do that. But just remember that this is not trading or investment advice. This is me going through our analysis of the different gold stocks and the markets and the commodities, metals, and so on. You have to do your own research, and I believe you have also done that. But I'm happy to hear that many of you bought this down close to the bottom of this area, and that this one was the sideways trading range I drew on the chart the other week, last week I think it was, where I said that this was definitely still in a good uptrend on the weekly chart. But it was in a bit of a sideways range, and right now if you are a short-term trader you might have to look out for the top of this range, but otherwise I think that B2 Gold, there's some good stuff going on there. On November 3rd they reported a strong Q3 result with a record year-to-year consolidated gold production from the company's 3 operating mines, just shy of 740,000 ounces, which is absolutely above expectations. So the B2 Gold is very nice right now, and I believe it can move a lot further up. You can see down here that it has actually been doing better than the overall GDX index. Dropped a bit back here, but still it is above both of its these two moving averages here, and that is what I like to see. So moving up or moving sideways here on the weekly time frame, but doing better than the overall market. Now the next one is Centerra Gold, as you might remember. And as I said there, I would not want to buy that when I mentioned that. Was it last week or the week before that? And that is simply because they have broken the uptrend very violently downwards here. You can see they're doing worse than the GDX. And I know that they have been pumped up here for the last week or so, very nice jump up, 21% here, but that's not really something I'm going for. I'm not going for these bounces here. We never know if this is a beginning of a new uptrend. If it is, of course, it was nice to buy it down here, but it could just as easily be another leg in a further downwards movement. So I never try to catch these crazy jumps here. I simply want to see a better trend, and right now we can draw a beginning of a trend line here, and it is still pointing downwards. So Centerra Gold right now, I would not buy it. When we're looking at the next one, that is Endeavour Mining Corp. They are coming up with the Q3 numbers here in 3 days, I think it is, on the 12th of November. So we don't have any news here. They are still, if we're looking at it, at an overall sort of uptrend, but then again, maybe not really. They have been going sideways since July, so it's quite a while, and I would not be comfortable buying in on that one right now. I would think that it is going to break this area in one way or the other, upwards or downwards, and before that happens, I don't really have an opinion of the trend of the Endeavour Mining here. Then we come to Kinross, and Kinross Gold. I said in my last video that it has been dropping down, but it was at the lower part, at the bottom here of this upwards regression channel here, and it was just resting on a former top. So I was saying that I just wanted to see if the buyers were coming in at this point, and it seems like they are. They came out with their Q3 report on November 5th with the net earnings nearly quadrupled to $240.7 million compared with the Q3 of 2019. Kinross had a solid 19 and 20, and the stock has risen nicely, which probably will continue going forward. It is some high quality earnings they're coming with now, and on the technical side they are bouncing just on the right place here. You can say that compared to the GDX, they have been dropping a bit down, and if we were going for my normal red, yellow, green way of looking at stocks, this would now be in the yellow zone, so just on the edge of being able to buy it here. But I think if we have a good week here with the stock going up, we will also see this CRS indicator going up again, and we would definitely have a go. You can see that the RSI here, 14 period RSI on a weekly chart, came up positive, meaning above 50 back here, and it is actually still up positive. So I'm long-term bull on the Kinross Gold. If it breaks down here to the 950 something, maybe 10, then I think we should look at for an exit on the stock. Now, the Newmont Corporation is the next one. We have already spoken about the Q3 results, so we'll just have a look at the technicals here. And now here we really see some nice technical movement, because we have this channel downwards where I said to you several times that as long as it was within this channel, I would not buy it. Now it has broken out, and there's no doubt it has broken out. But what I want to see now, because I don't try to chase these quick movers here, what I am looking forward now to is a little retracement here, and then some buying action. We also want to see the 20 SMA getting up here, and if we get a signal like this, it is extremely positive. We can see that the RSI is above 50 here. We still don't have a completely green signal, but we are very close, and I think within a week or two the Newmont Corporation will be all set to go on a further uptrend here. So let's get from the gold majors into a silver major, and that is of course Hecla Mining that I talked about. And again, I showed you this channel, and I said what we're waiting for here is a break upwards. And we saw a break up in the gold and silver, and of course that has resulted, or not of course, but it has resulted in a break up as well here at the Hecla Mining. Now, what I was looking for, we had these bottoms here that were trending downwards quite steeply, and then we had a new potential bottom here where we could see that the downward trend was not as steep anymore. Then we broke upwards, and I would say now that the bull flag has been broken upwards, and I also drew a line here saying that if it follows the normal rule of thumbs for a bull flag being broken, we could see some sort of area up here, just around somewhere between 8 and 9, where Hecla mining could go up to. We have spoken about the Q3 of Hecla, so I think we'll just leave this here. There's not much more to say about it. We can see that the RSI is above the 50 line. We can see that it has moved up above the two moving averages here. So on my normal red, yellow, green zone indicator here, we are definitely in the green zone, and it looks very interesting. Maybe we could look for a bit of a move up, a little retracement, and then some good entry around between 550 and 6. That is what I will be looking for if I were to go into that. So let's just go again to the juniors, to the explorers, developers. And first of all, we have the golden tag, which is one of the very interesting stocks that we have been looking at. As I mentioned in my last video, the golden tag has some huge potential in ground. We were not extremely excited about the management and their positions, how much they had taken or not taken in personal purchase of stocks. But I also mentioned that it had been moving up and down here in this sideways area. And what we saw here lately within the last week is that it made a new higher bottom on the daily here, and it has been shooting up very heavily here. And I think that might continue. If we see a break, especially of this top around the 0.44 here, I think we can see some very quickly increase in price in the golden tag here. So that is very exciting. Now to one of the stocks that I personally am most excited about and that I have a decent position in, and that is of course Capital Gold. Now the news from Capital Gold is taking a bit longer than expected, and that is due to the labs around the world. All of these miners here, explorers, are sending the samples into some labs to get the results, and right now these labs are delayed, and that is both due to the entire COVID-19 thing, and it's also because a lot of companies are drilling right now, so there's a lot of samples to be tested. But we wait for the last 12 out of the 15 holes from the first target, the Alonso target. And remember that the first 3 holes were what is called dusters, so there's not much to get there. But those were also the drill holes farthest away from the gold sample, so we weren't actually expecting them to be the worst of these 15. We still believe that the holes from around 8 to 15 has the best chances of success, so don't run around in panic if the next round of results are also dusters. It doesn't mean too much. Also remember that the Capital Gold, they have already drilled 18 to 10 holes at the Medusa, and things are a lot better there, I would say. The company have a much better access, and they drill very close to the gold samples. This is great, and we have very good expectations regarding this Medusa drill here. The last note is that the second rig that they have purchased will start drilling at the Machichi in the next few days, which will be, we think, a game changer for this company. The next 3 to 6 months, this company will have one rig with a professional team drilling targets where they have outcropping veins and have previous good drill results, meaning that while they will drill the more risky targets like Alonso and Medusa with their own rig. This means that we will see a lot of news flow during a time where most projects close down for the winter, gold and silver are rallying and so on. So the gold and silver rallying combined with a lot of news here from Capital, I really think there can be a huge spike in price there. That's just, of course, my guess. There are no certainties here. So what we can see is that they are still in a good uptrend. When we are looking down here, we can see they are still decently outperforming the overall GGX. We could consider comparing with the GGXJ here, but that doesn't matter too much. So we are in a good area. The RSI is starting to spike up. We are above the 20 SMA. I would like it to come up a bit, but again, on these developers, juniors and so on, technical analysis is not always the most the most reasonable way to buy these stocks, because they are very news driven. So we took some of our profit off the table up here just above 0.8, and we've been buying back down here, not so much from the technical point of view, but more from due to the case being so good, and we think this was simply being oversold. So that is the case with Capital Gold. And then we have the last one on the chart here today, and that is Palladium 1, and that is coming up here. Now, Palladium 1, the stock has taken a hit due to the exercising of warrants. As you might recall, I was saying that there was a lot of outstanding warrants that needed to be, or probably would be exercised now. And we still think that the case is completely intact. Management hope to start drilling again shortly, which is for us quite a surprise. And if they start drilling again, we see some great potential for this stock price to increase. And very soon we'll see the warrants exercising. That will be over, and the company will be cashed up for a very long time then, meaning that they can keep adding value at their project in Finland. And we still wait for news regarding 3 drill holes outside the area where the recent results were from. So I think that the Palladium 1 here, there was a bit of a surprise here on the price here. It had a huge spike down, and I was just asking my analyst what was the cause, and I think they found out that it was a very big owner selling a big lot of stocks, but he did it at market price, not with a limit order, but with market price, and that simply shot the price way down. That is at least the explanation I have gotten here. But it soon got up again to a fair value up here. And I am personally in the Palladium 1 here from around 0.21, 0.215. So I don't care too much if it drops down. You should be willing to take these drops here of 10 or 20 or 30% in these very small stocks. I think there is a lot of potential in the Palladium 1 here, and it is still shooting up here. It's doing better. I know that the GGX is a gold mining, so maybe it doesn't make too much sense comparing it to the GGX here, but let's just leave this one sitting here. So that was the 10 stocks that I would just go through quickly. Then of course we have the US election. And it is not that I think it matters much who is elected president. Right now, as far as I can tell, it is Joe Biden that ends up being president. And of course, there's some struggling with the courts and some people claiming that there are fraud in the election and so on. I think Joe Biden will end up as a president, but I don't really think it would matter much to the mining stocks whether it would be Trump or Biden. But of course there are some stimulus things we should consider, because right now it seems like Biden will be president and the Senate will probably end up being Republican, and then the Congress on the Democrat hand, but a bit of a weaker hand in the Congress for the Democrats. And that can leave us in a place where the stimulus package is a bit tough to negotiate home. I'm not certain how Donald Trump will react towards the stimulus packages now that he's not re-elected. So there is a lot of uncertainties here. If we are going to see some more stimulus packages, that would probably pressure the dollar a bit further down, due to people thinking that the dollar is worth less if they are printing, let's say, $3 trillion extra for a stimulus package. And that means that when the dollar is pressured down, the metal prices will go up. But that is a very big uncertainty right now, and there are a lot of ifs and buts here. So I'll not say anything specific about it, but I hope that on next Monday in our Mining Monday video, things have settled a bit more. I have a feeling that the Trump campaign will, within a week or two, they will say, yes, it is Joe Biden that is president. But there is some potential chaos still. As I said, there are some court rulings, there are some legal cases running, and there are also some rumors that Donald Trump might resign and then let Mike Pence be the president for the last couple of months, and he could so that Donald Trump wouldn't have to be at the turnover to Joe Biden himself. But that is all speculations, and there are so many rumors and so many conspiracy theories right there. So let's leave that for now. In a week or two, we'll be a lot wiser, and we can see what it has done to the prices. Now, just before I end here, let's just have a look and see if the gold price is bouncing a bit, and I think it is coming up a bit more. I think this was the vaccine news that pushed it down, but I think it will be moving to the upside, just slowly chugging along. I have a gut feeling that we are in the beginning of a good bull run in the metals right now. But only time will tell. I hope this was some sort of inspiration to you. Remember to do your own research. I'm in no way a financial advisor. Take care of yourself and your money out there, and I'll talk to you again very shortly. Bye for now.